name is Jesse Scanlon. I'm a junior, and I'm also an NHS officer, as well as a peer tutor and the president of Best Buddies. When Ms. Diaz approached me, she asked if Chris Johnson and I would do a joint lecture on words we shouldn't say. And she specifically asked me to talk about the R word, the word retarded. And the day she asked me, I kind of freaked out on her and was like, oh my gosh, did you look at my Facebook? And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I had to kind of explain to her that the day she asked me was the International Spread the Words End the Word Day. And Spread the Words End the Word is a campaign that was started by the Special Olympics to eliminate the use of the R word through our everyday speech. So it was kind of crazy that happened on the same day, but it gave me the perfect opportunity to pass the message on. So what is the R word? The R word was first introduced as a medical term to clinically diagnose someone with an intellectual or developmental disability. Specifically, if they had an IQ of 70 or below, they were considered mentally retarded. However, I hear the word in the hallways, at the mall, in my extracurricular activities, and even in the classroom. But it's not because people are diagnosing the kids sitting around them. When I was doing research, I came across the argument that the R word just means slow. And it does. But when you're walking down Main Street, how many times have you heard someone talking about the plant they left inside over the weekend and the lack of sunlight retarded the growth of the plant? Like, have you ever heard anyone talking about that on Main Street? Because when I hear the R word, it's not being used like that. So it's not being used in a medical term, and it's not being used as the word slow, then what is it being used as? Over the years, the R word has picked up momentum, along with a new connotation. We use the R word in place of words such as stupid, clumsy, idiotic, ignorant, dumb. All of these negative connotations we've now associated with the R word. And I'm not sure if we don't use those particular words, like Chris said, because we don't have a wide enough vocabulary or because we think it's funny. I'm not sure exactly what, instigated that change. So, and it's viral. Like I said, I hear it in the hallway and at the mall, and it's not just from students. I've heard teachers use it too. It's normally toward themselves. They're not trying to insult somebody else, but I've heard teachers on this campus using the R word. And I had a short clip that it's not working, so we're not going to watch it. But it was a video that a woman had made who had a son who had a stroke after he was born. And the stroke left him with an intellectual disability. And the R word, the video was about the R word and how it offended her. And she had, basically what I wanted y'all to get out of it was she had Facebook posts and all sorts of things in the media, because we don't just hear it, but we're seeing the R word all the time. We're seeing it on Facebook, on Twitter, on newspapers, like online newspapers and magazines, things like that, because it's everywhere. So, also in the video was titled, "Would you call my son a retard?" Most people wouldn't. Most people wouldn't walk up to someone with an intellectual or developmental disability and call them the R word to their face, because most people have the common decency to know that that's not okay, So my question is, if you don't think it's morally okay to walk up to someone with an intellectual and developmental disability and call them the R word to their face, then why is it okay to do so behind their back? Why is it okay to do so when you're just, with your friend, even if they don't have an intellectual or developmental disability? Why is it okay to just throw that word around? And the biggest problem with just throwing the R word around the way we do is that it allows people to associate intellectual and developmental disabilities with being ignorant and dumb and stupid and all those negative connotations that we listed earlier. It's allowing people to connect those two and think that they're the same. If they have an intellectual or developmental disability, they are stupid, they are ignorant, and that's not true. When I was doing the research, I came across a woman's blog who had a son with an intellectual disability, and she made a point that I had never quite heard of before, and I thought it was really interesting. She said that most people with intellectual and developmental disabilities have already been through so much in their lives, and they have. For the most part, they've been having surgery since they were 2. They had a stroke when they were born. Maybe their mother didn't treat her body right while they were in the womb, or maybe they had an accident in middle school. All of these things students on our campus have experienced. And to leave them with more labels, to let them feel more exclusion and hatred and more dehumanized is just, it's wrong. So, you know, a lot of people don't think about it when they're throwing that word around, that it's excluding a certain demographic of people. So I just want to read a little part of kind of her story about her son, just to kind of demonstrate what she was trying to say. He was born at 24 weeks because a birth mother was high. After that, he spent 5 months in the hospital struggling to survive. He was shaken when he was 6 months old, violently assaulted, smothered, and shaken before 2. There is a reason my son is blind, deaf, and in a wheelchair. My son is many things, but he is not retarded. So, you know, I know we don't think about that, and, you know, we just we throw that word around so lightly, but you know, you think that you're not really affecting anyone else when you say it, but you are, and it affects, you know, our school and our society as a whole. But there is hope. FX, the movie channel, has listed the R word as one of the 3 words that they will not broadcast. MTV and Fox have adopted measures to bleep out the R word or eliminate it from their shows and programs. And in 2010, the president signed Rosa's Law, which eliminated the term mental retardation from all federal health, education, and labor policies. So what that means is it's not even a medical term anymore. It's still considered a label that people with intellectual and developmental disabilities kind of have, but we shouldn't be using it. And the second part of Rosa's Law is they adopted what's called people first language. And that means that instead of saying that Downs girl or that special ed boy, we would say, you're putting the person first and you're saying that girl who just happens to have Down syndrome, or that boy who plays baseball who just happens to be in a couple special ed classes. So my question is if the media and the government have figured out that the R word is unacceptable for us to be using, why have we not? Why has our everyday society not? Why has our school not? Why has our community not? Why have our students and teachers not figured out that the R word is degrading and it's not okay, it's unacceptable for us to use? So that's pretty much it, but the point I think Chris and I were really trying to make is, you know, whether you walk away from this and you stop using the R word or you stop saying that, so whatever, just think about what you're saying, because words are powerful and it's not only affecting you, but it's affecting those around you. So, thanks.